Imagine your clan is starving. The winter grass is gone. The river is frozen. A huge animal stands near the trees. It is strong enough to pull your shelter apart. It could carry you across the valley, or so you think. You climb onto its back. Then it moves. Your legs slide wide. Its body sways left, then right, then left again. You cannot find a stable seat. It begins to pant. Its heat rises. It stops. Now you are stranded, and the animal beneath you is angry. What would you choose? A living tractor or a living escape machine? Most people think humans rode horses because horses were easier to tame. That answer sounds right, but it is not deep enough. Horses could be violent. They could bite. They could kick. They could throw a human into the dirt. Early riders probably paid for every lesson with bruises. Some may have paid with their lives. So why did humans keep climbing onto horses? Why not cows? Cows are larger than many horses. Oxen can drag enormous loads. They can pull plows through mud. They can haul stones. They can move logs. They can turn mills. A powerful ox can pull loads weighing several tons. That sounds like the perfect mount. But strength was never the real answer. The deeper answer began long before humans existed. It began in ancient forests. It began with fear. It began with two prey animals facing two very different worlds. One world was closing. The other world was opening. And evolution built two bodies for two opposite survival strategies. One body learned to stand firm. The other body learned to run. That difference changed human history. Around 54 million years ago, ancient North America was covered in warm forest. The first horse ancestors lived there. They were tiny. They were not majestic. They were not fast. They were not tall. They looked more like nervous forest browsers. They had several toes. They ate soft leaves. They hid under branches. Their small bodies survived by staying unseen. But the planet changed. The climate became cooler. The forests began to shrink. Open grasslands spread across the land. Trees disappeared. Cover disappeared. Safety disappeared. For ancient horse ancestors, this was a nightmare. In a forest, you can hide. On open grassland, every predator can see you. A hunting cat can see you. A wolf can see you. A pack can follow you. There is nowhere to disappear. So natural selection asked one brutal question. Can you run farther than death? The horses that ran survived. The horses that could not run vanished. Generation after generation, their bodies changed. Their legs became longer. Their toes merged. Their feet became hooves. Their lungs became larger. Their hearts became stronger. Their spines became flexible engines. Their whole body became a machine for escaping danger. This was not designed for humans. This was designed for survival. A horse is an ancient panic response with legs. Its body says run. Its muscles say run. Its heart says run. Its brain says run. And one day, humans discovered how to guide that instinct. But first, evolution created something else. It created a small ridge behind the horse's shoulders. You know it as the withers. Most people never notice it, but it quietly changed civilization. The withers are tall bones near the shoulder blades. They help support the horse's heavy head. They anchor powerful muscles. They stabilize the body during fast movement. When a horse runs, its head moves like a balancing weight. The withers help control that motion, but they also form a natural barrier. A rider can sit just behind them. A saddle can rest against them. The load does not easily slide forward. The rider sits near the horse's center of mass. The horse's skeleton almost creates a seat. That is the false answer again. It was not just the saddle shape. A saddle can be built. A rider can use straps. A human can invent leather. But straps cannot fix a body that moves badly. And that brings us to cattle. The ancestors of cattle were not built in the same world. Their wild ancestor was the aurochs. The aurochs was huge. A mature bull could weigh close to a small car. It had massive shoulders, it had heavy bones, it had long forward horns. It was not an animal you casually approached. Ancient humans knew this. Aurochs could charge, they could gore, they could crush. They survived near forests, woodland edges, and broken ground. This environment rewarded a different strategy. A horse had space to flee, and aurochs had obstacles everywhere. Trees blocked long chases. Mud slowed movement. Uneven ground punished speed. So cattle ancestors evolved for power. They evolved for mass. They evolved for balance. They evolved to resist. A horse escaped danger, and aurochs could face danger. That one evolutionary split shaped everything. Horses became narrow and springy. Cattle became broad and heavy. Horses became built for rhythm. Cattle became built for force. Horses developed a back that could hold a rider. Cattle developed a back that could carry a yoke.
A cow's back looks wide and comfortable. That is the trap. Wide does not mean rideable. A wide back forces a rider's legs outward. Your thighs cannot grip properly. Your hips become strained. Your balance becomes weak. Then the animal moves, and the real problem begins. A horse has distinct gaits: walk, trot, canter, gallop. Each gait has a repeating rhythm. A skilled rider learns that rhythm. The rider rises. The rider settles. The rider moves with the animal. A galloping horse feels powerful, but it also feels patterned. Your body can predict the next movement. A cow does not offer the same gift. At speed, cattle roll from side to side. Their movement is uneven. Their center of mass shifts. Their body lurches. Their wider pelvis changes the motion. Their legs work differently. Their cloven hooves touch the ground in two parts. Each step creates tiny sideways instability. At a walk, this is useful. A cloven hoof spreads weight across soft ground. Mud becomes easier. Wet soil becomes safer. But speed reveals the cost. Each fast step becomes a small balance problem, then another, then another. A rider cannot settle into the motion. A rider is fighting the body beneath them. Riding a running cow is like balancing on a boat in rough water. You do not flow with it, you react to it. Too late, every time. But even that is not the deepest reason. You could imagine breeding smoother cattle. You could imagine building better saddles. You could imagine adding straps. You could imagine training for years. Then heat arrives, and the entire dream collapses. Horses sweat. Cattle mostly do not. That sounds like a minor detail. It is not. It is the hidden wall. A horse working hard can produce huge amounts of sweat. That sweat spreads across the skin. It evaporates. It pulls heat away. The horse becomes a moving cooling system. Its body can run. Its body can carry weight.
Its body can release heat at the same time. A cow has far fewer effective sweat glands. When cattle get hot, they pant. They breathe faster. They try to release heat through their airways. That works when they are resting. That works in shade. That works for slow movement. But it fails during hard work. Muscles generate heat. Carrying a rider creates more heat. Moving fast creates more heat. Warm weather adds more heat. Soon, the cow becomes a furnace. The horse becomes a radiator. That is the real divide. A horse can travel far under a rider. A cow can pull hard at a slow pace. Those are different jobs. Ancient humans needed both jobs. They just did not confuse them. Cattle became engines for agriculture. Then they turned that grass into milk. They turned it into meat. They turned it into hide. They turned it into labor. Oxen pulled plows. They dragged timber. They hauled stone. They moved food. They gave farming communities more power than human muscles alone could provide. But horses gave something different. They gave speed. And speed is more than travel. Speed changes hunting. Speed changes war. Speed changes trade. Speed changes messages. Speed changes the size of nations. Before horses, an order could move only as fast as a walking person, or as fast as an ox cart.